In my opinion, yes. I mean, you do not get section wise scores, but at least you can achieve, at least you can easily achieve 40 plus. I mean, even if you are a mediocre, if you are not very good at quant, right, you can easily achieve 40 plus very easily. And if you are good, then you can even achieve 45 to 50, right? Now, and you have to do that in the minimum time, right? So this series will help you boost your preparation. You will learn some concepts. So in the first two classes, we are going to do some fast calculation techniques, right? So one thing that people struggle with is calculations, right? It is not about just about calculations, but about observation of things. Okay, so we will discuss that how you can do better in the examination by following certain hacks, right? So this is divided into two parts. So today we will learn some hacks, and tomorrow we will see some calculation techniques, right? People call it magic maths. There is no magic in this. That is all scientific with logic behind that, right? So we shall see both the things. We shall see some hacks, some logical hacks, how you can solve questions fast, and in the next we'll see some fast calculation techniques. Okay, and then subsequent classes will be studying different topics and solving questions on them, so that you practice well and score well in this examination. Okay, all right, so this is our YouTube schedule. We have classes at different times, so you can subscribe to our channel and watch these different classes, right? We have for all, covering all MBA entrance examinations. Okay, so we have this this series every Sunday on GradeUp app by Anadi. He talks about different MBA examinations and how to crack different sections. Okay, and we have recently launched this crash course for MAHCET 2021. In case you want to enroll in it, you can prepare with us and ace the examination. Okay, and we have a coupon code going on. You can use this coupon code unlock50 to avail 50% discount. Today is the last day to avail this discount. Okay, so let us talk about the quant and DI section. It has 50 questions, 1/4 of the paper. Now this was the distribution last year. It is more or less the same. You get around 3 to 4 DI sets. Last year 3 DI sets, 18 questions, right? So quant DI is not like CAT, right? If some of you must be preparing for CAT also, you said that CAT DI level is entirely different, right? But if you talk about MAHCET, the DI are quite normal, right? They are basic calculation based. They are graph and table based DI. Okay, then you have around 10 to 12 word problems on arithmetic, and from different topics, right? So it is not confined to one topic. You get problems from like simple interest, compound interest. You will get problems from profit loss, time, speed, distance, right? And then permutation, combination also, right? Work, pipes, and all those different topics you get problems, right? So it covers the entire arithmetic thing, right? Good thing is you do not have to do algebra, geometry, higher maths, not required. Okay, then other questions are quantity comparison, that you have two quantities using two different statements and you have to compare them. Number series, quadratic equations, approximations. Now these are some easy pickings in the examination, right? These are some things that you can do very fast, and hence you can score all marks in these topics in less time. So these are some things that you must do, right? You should not skip those things in the examination. Okay, level of quant is easy to moderate, right? It is not very hard. It is generally easy to moderate section in CET. Okay, now can you target 50 questions in 30 minutes? Okay, yes you can, right? If you like, or even if you are slow, right, you can target 50 questions in 40 minutes. Or if you do not want to increase the time, you can at least go with 40 plus questions in 30 minutes. Okay, so how? These are the topics: number series, quadratic equation, approximation. You will get around 15 to 18 questions from these three topics, right? These questions can be done within 10 minutes with proper practice, right? In 10 minutes you can make 15 to 18, right? DI, if you do well, right, you can do another 15 to 18 questions, whatever be the number, in another probably 15 minutes. So in 25 minutes itself you can go beyond 30, right? And some more word problems, around 30 minutes you can go easily 40 plus, right? If you practice well for these things. Okay, so there are certain concepts that you need to master, and we shall be seeing in this series, right? We'll be discussing some concepts, right? So I'll be telling you certain hacks which people do not use, right? If we talk about quant section, do you know what is the difference between mathematics and quantitative aptitude? Right, people think that are to maths hai. No, it is maths, of course it is maths, but it requires you to be smart, right? That is what is aptitude is. You have to be smart, you have to think in a logical way also, right? So that is what aptitude is. You are given objective questions, you do not have to do descriptive work, right? You have to use shortcuts, you have to use certain techniques. Those techniques we will see. Okay, first trick, I'm sure all of you know about last trick, last digit. How many of you actually use it? How many times have you used it? You study for CAT, or like even if you study for other exams also, you study this concept of last digit, but do you really use it? If not, then please use it. It will save a lot of time. And believe me, many questions in the examination are based on last digit. Okay, I mean, many questions you will find the options are not very smart. You can use the last digit concept to find the last digit. So for example, let us say I'll tell you what the concept is for the ones who do not know. If I, let's say, add 7 plus 5, I'll get 12. If I add 17 plus 15, I'll get 32. If I add 77 plus 45, right, I'll get 122, right? If I add 457 plus 315, I'll get 772. So no matter whichever digits I'm adding, right, I'm getting the same last digit. Okay, similarly, same goes for multiplication also, right? If I multiply, let us say if I multiply 6 and 3, I'll get 18. 16 into 3, 48. 26 into 13, 338. 13 into 6, 78, right? You will get 848. Okay, so whenever you multiply last digit 6 and 3, you will get the last digit as 8. So I hope you know this technique, right? If you add last digit, same last digit, you will get the same last digit, right? So this thing you keep in mind, and that helps you answer questions fast. Now this, you won't get this as a question, this I've just taken as an example, right? Suppose you got the relative speed of two trains, right? Suppose the question was not like this. Suppose it says that one train is going at 15, one is going at 33, and they meet after 22 hours, right? What is the distance between two stations, right? So what is the general tendency is people start multiplying 22 into 48. So look at the options, right? Observe the options. So if you see 2 into 8 is 6, only one option has 6 as the last digit. So you can directly mark this as your answer, right? So many times we forget this concept, right? We know that this last digit, there is something called last digit, but we generally do not do it, right? So make it a habit. Whenever you solve questions, notice the options, right? I'm telling you that at least in 30-40% of the cases, you can answer question without even calculation, right? So remember that this is a very good thing that you should always keep in mind. Okay, so that was a very simple thing. Most of you must be already knowing it, right? Now let us look at the type of question you might encounter. Okay, suppose this is the question. Now we know these things. See, there are certain things that people know they exist, but they do not use it. So this is in this video, I'll talk about all those things that you should be knowing, as well as applying also. Application is also important, and you can save a lot of time by using these things. Now I can solve this question mentally. I do not have to calculate anything in this. So what do I have? I have three parts, 14 ratio 24 ratio 53, right? So if I say this is 14x, this is 24x, this is 15x, right? So total is how much? 53x, right? And it says that A and C, the difference is 214. So 15x minus 14x, x is equal to 214, right? So you have to multiply by 50. You have to find the total 53x. So 53 into this will be 5. 3 into 4 is 12. Last digit is 2. So we get these kind of questions, but we often do not use this, right? Despite knowing that, you do not use it. So make sure that always look at the last digit of the options, and you will find, right? You will see mock test, you will see in the examination also, many times the options are not smart. Okay, so you should know that. That is the hack. The second thing is divisibility rules, right? This also helps to sometimes eliminate options and find the answers. Okay, so I'll just quickly take you through the divisibility rules. Tell me which all divisibility rule are you not aware of. I will give you some examples of that. Okay, I'm sure about 2 every must be knowing. 2, 4, 8, 10, 5, right, 3, 9, all of you must be knowing out of these. Which of these divisibility rules are you not aware of or you have confusion with? I'll tell you how to do that. I think most of the time 7. Okay, 11, do you know? Okay, I'll tell one case of 11 also, right? I'll tell a case of 11 and I'll take some cases of 7 also, because some people might be having confusion with 11 also. Okay, so I'll take some case of 11, right? Suppose you have a number like, suppose this is a number, right? So if I have to find whether it is divisible by 11 or not, okay, so what I do is I add digits at alternate positions. What do you get? 8 plus 8, 16, plus 9, 25, and this is 8 plus 16, 8 plus 6, 14, right? 25 minus 14 is 11, right? So if the difference is 11, if the difference is 0, 11, 22, 33, I mean, that would be rare, but multiple of 11, rare. I mean, you will generally get 0 or mostly 11, right? That numbers are divisible by 11. Okay, those numbers are divisible by 11. Okay, and whenever you have, so let us take one more example. Okay, so this is 9, this is also 9, so 9 minus 9, the difference is 0, right? So this is also divisible by 11, right? So this is the divisibility rule for 11. So now let us see the divisibility rule for 7. Okay, okay, so let the number be 6741. Okay, now if you have to find that whether this number is divisible by 7 or not, what we do is we multiply the last digit double, right? So what is 2 times of 1? 2. Okay, and subtract from the remaining number. So when we will get 672, and we have to repeat this. 672, what is double of 2? 4. 67 minus 4 is 63. Now 63 I know is divisible by 7, right? I know this is divisible by 7, hence the number will be divisible by 7. Okay, all right, so let me take a number. Okay, suppose this number. Now double of 7 is 14. So what will you get? 1680. Okay, so 1680, I mean, you can see 0 is irrelevant, so you can subtract 8 2s are 16 from 16, 0, that is divisible by 7. Okay, so you can find this way. Let us take one more example. Okay, suppose this is the number that I have. Okay, so I have to check whether it is divisible by 7 or not. Okay, so what is 2 times of 4? 8. I'll get 1078. What is 2 times of 8? 16. I'll get 91. Even if you do not know that 91 is divisible or not, 2 times of 1 is 2. 9 minus 2, 7. So it is divisible by 7. Okay. So generally, I mean, if you talk about divisibility, what you should generally, these things like 8, many times of 11, 9. So these divisibilities will help you in a lot of questions, right? So if you use last digit plus divisibility, right, you can answer, like if you know these two concepts, 60 to 70% of the questions can be answered using this. Okay. Now let us say this is given to you, right? So maybe you found out something, that cost of 1 kg you found out, you have to find out, suppose that's a DI question, right? Some table given to you and you figured out this thing, right? So this is, suppose, the last statement, right? You know the cost, you have to find the cost of 32 kgs, right? So you have to multiply basically these numbers. Okay, see, at the end, if you know the concepts and all, last thing is the product, addition, or those things, right? Those things take time. You know how to write formula, I mean, you know the concepts, you know everything, but in the end the calculation part takes time for everyone, right? So that is, we are learning that how we can reduce that time. Suppose I have to find and I have to tell that which will be the answer. So these things, if you learn and keep the things in mind, that definitely helps you doing calculations quite fast. Okay, so now I know that 55 is a multiple of 11. So the product will be a multiple of 11, right? Multiple of 11. So this is 9 and 6, 3. This is 7 and 2. This is 7 and 7. So that is divisible. Okay. See, it is not necessary, but in many of the cases that you will find these things helpful, right? I'm not saying that in every question you will get this, right? And remember, especially in questions of your what do you have, your mensuration, right? Whenever you have circular thing, right, you take pi as 22 by 7, right? So some radius, let us say some cost is given to you, right? Let us say that let's say the fencing cost, let us say the fencing cost, they give that the cost of fencing is, let us say they give some random number, right? Let's say they have given that, let us say 350 rupees per meter, right? Suppose they have given, and the radius they have given to you as 14, right? So what we will be, you will say 2 pi r, right, into 350. So okay, so 350, you think that okay, this is a multiple of 7. Let me not take a multiple of 7. Let us take some other number. Let us say 38 rupees. Okay, so remember that this will always be a multiple of 11, because in pi you take 22 by 7, right? So always see that the multiple of 11 and know that the answer will be a multiple of 11. And remember, in very few questions you will see that they have used great options. So if you use the last digit, if you use divisibility thing, you will be able to solve 50 to 60% questions quite easily. Okay. Okay, suppose you have this, right? So you got a park, right? You got these dimensions. So they have given you that the dimensions are these, and you have to find the area. How can you find this area fast? Right, or some value. I'm just taking examples. These are, you don't I mean, you won't get these kind of questions, but the thing is, like, suppose you have to multiply these two numbers, right? So instead of just writing the numbers, I just give some statements along with them. Now you must be thinking that all are ending in 5, right? The last digit is not helping you. Can we tackle this problem using some other thing? Yes, we can, using the divisibility rule, right? So this is a multiple of 9, this is a multiple of 9, right? So the product should be a multiple of 9. Okay, now this thing, 9 plus 7, 16, 18, 8 and 13, right? So only this is the multiple of 9. Now this thing people do not realize while solving questions, right? They do not realize it. So make sure that you realize these things while solving questions, and you will find that you have improved your speed in the examinations. Okay, people do not realize these things. They do manual calculations. But if you realize these things, that the question setter does not focus a lot on options. So these are some hacks that you can use to calculate fast. Okay, now one bad habit that people have is writing zeros, right? People always hate zeros, isn't it? No one wants to get a zero, right? But why do we write a lot of zeros? Especially in DI, you will see a lot of zeros written, right? 1000, you do multiplications and all. Just focus on the digits. Never count zeros, decimal points. I will tell you the reason why. Let us see this question, right? Let us say you have to find this thing. Okay. Now, too many zeros. Each of these options has same number of zeros. So if I do not count the zeros, let us say the answer is 352, right? If I get my answer 352 and all have 4 zeros, or I did some calculation, I got 3520, right? So all have same number of zeros, right? So can we answer this question fast? Now, suppose you have to do some calculation. Let us say you were given this in table, right? You were given a table that weight of car, weight of truck, 300 cars, 400 trucks. You have to find the total weight. Now, how can we do it very fast? Using all the things that we just used. So I am telling you certain hacks. You need to use the combination of those things, right? And you combine all those things, you will find that yes, you are much smarter and can solve things fast. Okay, so car and truck 16 and 85, right? So car, if you talk about car, it is 16 into 300 cars, right? And for truck it is 85 into 4. Okay, so I'm reducing 2 zeros from here, 2 zeros from here, 2 and 2. Okay, 16 into 3, 48, last digit is 8. 85 into 4, last digit will be 0, last digit will be 8. I mean, let the zeros be whatever the zeros be, whatever the digits be, right? So I did not use any calculation. I got this answer in hardly 5 seconds, right? Otherwise what people do is they write like this, 1600. See, imagine how much time people waste in writing these zeros, right? Then they will say 8500. Then they will think also 8500 into 400, how many zeros will be there? So they will write first 4 zeros. Then they will say 85 into 4, 340. Then they will add, right? It takes time, right? Instead of writing all this much, I can just use this and calculate it. So, I mean, your rough work could be as fast as possible, and hence you can speed up your time, right? So use those time that you save here in solving more questions. Okay, now one important thing, solving using percentage as fractions. How we can use percentage as fractions and solve questions in a fast way. Okay, so if you want, you can take screenshot of these values, right? And I mean, you should know these values at least up to 20. You should know, if not up to 30, right? So 1 upon 1 is 100%, 1 by 2 is 50%. Now these will help you drastically, right? You can solve questions like, I mean, you will feel that okay, you are super fast at doing things. Okay, so 1 by 8 is 12.5%. so suppose a question says that it is 12.5%, so that should automatically strike to your mind, it is 1 by 8, right? If I say 75%, that should come to your mind 3 by 4 and vice versa, right? The conversion between things, right? So these things help you a lot, right? And we will see some examples now. Okay, so it says the length of a rectangle is 20% more than its width. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 308 centimeter, what is its area? See, how do we take variables? We generally write variables like length is 1.2 times. So we take that w, let width is equal to w, right? And then you will say length is 1.2 w, right? Then you will do some calculations, you will get in decimals, right? 20% is 1 by 5. So I will take my width as 5x, length as 6x. Okay, so 20% I know is 1/5, so I take the variable 5 and 6. Now I know the perimeter will be 22x. 22x is equal to 308. I have to find area, right? I have to find how much? I have to find 30x square, right? So I know that, I mean, see, I know that x is going to something end in whatever digit it is, 30 into this. This particular case we got directly, right? Yeah, so this particular question we got directly. Let us look at one more example, right? This was directly a multiple of 5, so we got easily. Otherwise, let us take another example in which I'll explain you in a better way, right? So now this, let us say this is a question. This could be a genuine question in the examination. This could be a genuine question, right? So try to solve it and find how much time do you take to solve it. Solve this question, take time, how much ever time you take, let's say 3 minutes, 2 minutes and all, and we will see how we can do it in a much less time using this concept of percentages. Okay, so you got answer D. You will see that you will change the way you take variables. If you know these certain things, right, which probably not many people use, right, you will see the way you solve questions, you will start taking much lesser time than others, right? So how generally people do is, how a normal person does is, so what they will say that Rohan's salary, so in 2019, so people say that Rohan's salary is X, right? And then Aman's salary will be 1.25x. That's how they take it, isn't it? Then you will get some equation wherein you have to use this decimal to count, right? You will have to divide by some number like this. Don't do that, right? 25% means 1 by 4, right? So 1 by 4 more than Rohan's salary. Okay, so Aman and Rohan. So Aman's salary in 2019 was 1/4 more, right? So we will take Rohan's salary as 4x and Aman's salary as 5x. Their monthly salaries increased by 8,000 and 6,000 respectively, right? So that is 5x plus 8 and Aman's salary increased, right, by 8. Okay, yes, 4x plus 6. Now no need to write zeros also. See, we are using all the combination of the things that I told you, right? Now their average salary in 2020 is 34,000, right? So what do you get? You will get 9x plus 14 is equal to 68, right? So you will get x is equal to 6. X is equal to 6. Aman in 2019, 5x, that is 30,000. See, we are using the combination of things. I told you the combination of things. First is, maybe we did not use that thing, but what did we use? We did not count zeros, right? We did not count zeros because both are in thousands, right? So even if that is like 8,000, 6,000, both are in thousand, and this is also in thousand. So don't count zeros, right? And this how we did it. Okay, so that's how we solve the questions fast. Okay, so taking variables based on percentages. Okay, so 25% more kya hai, so take 4x and 5x. If it is 20% more, so yes, you can take 5x and 6x. Okay, so this is how we can do things fast. Okay, then some of you must be aware of this, and the ones who are not, I'll tell you this, right? So that how to multiply things fast, right? Suppose I have to multiply these numbers 32.5 and 48. So see, that's a common sense. We do not generally do not know these things, right? A into B, the product is AB. If I multiply 2 times of A and half of B, the product will be still AB. If I multiply 4 times of A and 1/4 of B, the product will still be AB, isn't it? Then why do we do these things? Why do we keep multiplying by that exact number, right? So whenever you have some number ending in 5 and an even number, what we can do is, I do not know the table of 325, I do not know the table of 48, right? I can calculate, but it will take time, right? So what I can do is, I can just multiply this by 2 and multiply this by half. So that will become 65 into 24. Now I do not know the table of 65, I do not know the table of 24. I can still do it by 130 into 12. Now I know the table of 12 and 13 both. So I can do the multiplication this way. Had you multiplied using 45, it would have taken longer time, isn't it? Now similarly this 175 and 68, you do not know the table of any of these numbers, do you? I can find the table of any number, but we generally do not know, right? We do not know the exact numbers, right? You cannot directly multiply. It takes time to multiply, right? So what I will do is, I will double this number. I'll make it 35. I'll take half of it, that is 3.4. Okay, 35 into 34, I do not know. I'll make it 70 into 1.7, right? 7 into 17 is 119. So see how well we can find these things, right? So now I'm not saying that this is something that you will get every time, but yes, in case you get a product like this wherein you have to multiply two numbers, one is a multiple of 5 and other is an even number, you can use this thing to simplify their product. Okay, now this might happen 1 in 10 questions, 1 in 12 questions, any one questions you might get that, right? But if you know these hacks, you can multiply much faster, right? So So there is no such magic. These are all logical things, right? So I told you the logic behind this, right? The product is same, so I can multiply this way and multiply in a much lesser time. Okay. Now another thing that we generally, we should know and do this multiplication or division by 25 or 125, right? If sometime you come across this thing. So remember that 1 upon 25 is 4 by 100. 1 upon 125 is 8 by 1000. So whenever you have to divide by 25, do not do divide by 25, instead multiply by 4, right? And do not divide by 100, because I told you that you should not worry about decimals and zeros. Suppose you have to multiply by 25, do not multiply by 25, divide by 4. Okay, and then multiply by 100, of course, right? That you need not to do, because the options will take care of that. Okay, all right. So now let us see this thing. Let us say you have to find this thing. That is why these things help you a lot. So I know that 125 is 1 by 8. 375 will be 3 by 8. So you can, just do the calculus. Suppose you had to multiply some data was given to you and you came up with the last thing as the multiplication of this data, right? So that you can calculate things quite fast. Okay, so now let us look at some question that you might encounter, and then you will realize that, okay, how we can simplify these things. Let us say, now this is a question that you can probably get, right? So I was explaining through simple examples. I've taken some sort of questions that you can encounter in the examination, right? Suppose this is a question that you get, right? And how we can do this question fast. We will see that how we can do the calculations fast, right? So generally people, when they see questions, they just skip those, right? They think that, okay, this will take a lot of calculation time. But instead of fearing calculations, we shall use these hacks to determine these fast. Now, as per this, the ball is 28 centimeter in diameter, so R is equal to 14, and this R is equal to 17.5, right? So what is the volume of sphere? 4 by 3 pi R cube, right? That is equal to circular cone, right? So cone is 1/3 pi R square h. So you have to find h. Okay. So h will be equal to 4r cube upon r square. Okay, so we'll get 4 64. 64 into 14, you will get 896 by 25, right? So people fear things, right? But whenever you see that last two digits are, so whenever you divide by 25, you will get the last two digits as this, right? Now 896 by 25, right? Now 896 by 25, you see, we just multiply by 4, right? Instead of dividing by 25, multiply by 4. So 900 into 4 is 3600, 3600. So it will be approximately 36, slightly less than 36. So which is the only option? This. So this is the only option you will get, which is slightly less than 36, right? Or if you want to multiply the last 4 digits, you can say that 3584. Okay, so need not multiply things. Keep these things in mind, right? It is not just about one thing, right? It is a amalgamation of all things, right? So as I said that last digit, right? Then divisibility, skipping zeros, forgetting decimal places where to put decimals, right? And percentages to fractions, fractions to percentages, division by 25, multiplication by these numbers. So all these things, if you keep in mind, and this is not just one thing but a combination of things. If you apply these things somewhere or the other, these will help you and will help you reduce your calculation time. Okay, all right. So these are our mentors at GradeUp. I'm sure you must have attended their classes on YouTube as well as GradeUp app. And these are the courses that we have launched recently for different examinations, right? Including one for MAH-CET as well. Okay, in case you want to enroll in these courses, you can just get GradeUp Super subscription, which is being offered at discounted price, right? And you can use this coupon code to avail this discount. Okay, all right. So this was some session in which I discussed about certain hacks which you can use. I mean, these are the things that you must know, and you should use them in combination, right? Maybe in some place you might be encountering using last digit. Sometimes you might be using divisibility rule, right? Sometimes you might be encountering where there are a lot of zeros to be calculated, especially in DI, right? Lot of zeros present. So instead of using zeros, I mean, you can just do not count zeros and then do the calculations, right? Similarly, at times you might be required to calculate division by 25, right? So this is how you can do that. So these things, when used in combination, can help you reduce your calculation time. Okay, and in the next video we'll be discussing some more calculation thing, how to find squares of numbers, like approximating things, how to approximate numbers and all those things we shall see in the next video, right? So I hope you got some valuable inputs from this video. Try to apply these things, whatever we learned in this, that how to apply these, because we generally ignore these things, right? So make sure that you use these things in your calculations whenever you do mock test, when you practice, because when you apply this in your practice, you will automatically apply this in your examination, and you will realize that this will drastically reduce your time in quant section, and you can solve these questions fast. Okay, so thank you for watching this video. Have a great night. Goodbye.